This Animation Arts calendar should be shared with all of you, so you should be able to see these events. And I've been sort of just experimenting with some of these entries to see how the workflow would function. One thing that I didn't set up on these entries that I realized I actually missed is the setting of the co-host. So there's a couple of things here that you can tick on that'll help you streamline your recordings and allow multiple people to initiate either breakout rooms or recordings or change settings on the Meet. So I think it's important to get this right because it's going to alleviate a lot of frustration going forward. Meeting recordings, you want to tick that on, record the meeting by default. It doesn't have to have captions. You can transcribe the meeting, but Google hallucinates and makes up words sometimes. If you run it through AI, it'll give you a summary though, so it sort of understands its own hallucinations. Guests. So once you've accepted the event, you can add the co-host. So there's a little bit of a like a back and forth here. But what you want to do for sure is duplicate and send the co-hosts and hosts all the artifacts that result from this meeting. So make sure that that's checked. Yeah, so if you look at the shared calendar and you accept those events, or you're saying that you're going, then you show up as a co-host here. You definitely want to add these, and then you can save this. I don't think this would need to be repeated. I think because it's the same, let me just check. So I'm going to save this and then check here and see if those settings remain. But I suspect they do. So because the Meet is one link. So I'm hoping that those settings transfer. Let's check here. Yeah, so those settings, at least they're true for all instances of this recording. So you only have to do that once at least. For the other things, you have to use the same entry when duplicating and scheduling these events. So I'm just going to close this one, didn't really change it. So on this, let's say first instance of 3D 100, I think I already kind of messed this one up, but let's duplicate it in any case. So I'm going to duplicate. Just check the times. Then this one is from 11 to 1, I believe. Can someone just confirm for me?
Yep, that's right.
Cool. And then you want to add the rooms. Okay, so this is important so that we can better manage our calendar and studio allocation. It means that we can book classrooms sort of ad hoc. We could also let students know by just glancing at our calendar which rooms might be available for them to move to if they need to work on campus or anything like that. It gives us a lot more agency over our resources. So B4 is one of the resources. You obviously don't want to book it for the times that you're not going to be using it. So you should check the, well, for hybrid classes, it's a little bit tricky because you can't like offset it if you have repeating events. So you have to go to every second event and unfortunately delete the resources from those events.
For hybrid classes, do you also duplicate what if it's a Stellenbosch class and not a Centurion class?
So I add both. There is a resource here. I think that building is called the Shed in Stellenbosch, and then it is actually AnyCAD. So AnyCAD, you'll see that. Look, normally you wouldn't want to book a resource that is crossed out because it means that someone else already booked it. Okay. If you need to see who booked that, you can go to this resources calendar. I'll show you in a second. But for now, I'm going to add it because it's just to sort of blanket apply it, and then I'll go and remove it from the instances that it doesn't belong in. It's only hybrid classes that are a little bit like cumbersome to set up. For the rest, it's just the online versions. And we don't really have on-campus classes, but if it was an on-campus instance, then you could just add it throughout and shouldn't clash with anything else.
So the event won't indicate if it's Stellenbosch or Centurion. They'll just be the same. They'll be duplicates of each other. Like in Monday's case, the Monday 9 o'clock class is Stellenbosch class, the Monday 11 o'clock class is Centurion class. would that
Yeah,
need to be
so
indicated
the
on the?
calendar itself won't say.
Okay, it's just
The resources will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And sorry,
So then you just yeah.
the timetable that you have at the moment, those certificate classes where they're scheduled, is that where Deolani moved them? Is
That's
this
the latest. Yeah, we can chat about that in a minute.
okay?
So when you add people, you're welcome to just make sure that everyone can modify the event, all the guests. Again, the setting, we can just do meeting recordings, transcribe meetings, save. Oopsie, some more stuff there. Guests, do that. Don't tick on everyone as a viewer by default, because you want students to actually participate and be able to post comments and put up their hands and stuff. This is more for like, it's the equivalent to a streaming kind of approach, I guess. I don't know, but it's not useful to us. And then the moment that you've accepted it, those need to be added. But again, you just needed to do it on one instance once you've accepted those events. What you don't want to do is every time that you change this, you don't want to send out notifications. Otherwise, we're just going to get like millions of emails from every single adjustment. So just say don't send. You can find those events on the shared calendar, and then you're good. For the remaining events, or when you need to edit this and it's not and you're not actually using the space, just remove the spaces and save it again. And then when it asks you whether it's for this event or recurring events, then you only do this event. Okay. You want to do this, like after you've populated all those other ones. And don't send. So let's just quickly try a new one. So if I go over here, say motion design 1, that's Rickus and Bean. And you can modify the event. The meet can be adjusted later on. We want to switch off all day events. Want to get the time right? Just quickly give me a time there. Motion design?
Monday would be 9 to 11.
Okay, thanks. 9 to 11. It does repeat, so you want to go custom. Then it's Monday. And if we want to include the holiday at this stage, all the way to the end of the first semester, it would be 19 instances or occurrences. So that is fine. And then this is completely online, so I don't have to add a room. And we don't need location. I think everything is fine for now. Looks good. Save. Do not send. Okay, so then the moment that you've accepted this event on your side, you should be able to go in and change those meet settings. Now, for the rest of the events, what you do is you duplicate this again. You can click duplicate there once you've gone into it, or you can just click here, and I think under this little menu there's a duplicate as well, and then you change the time. But if you change the time and you apply it again, you just don't send out the invitation, and just double check that this URL remains the same. If it doesn't, then something's gone wrong somewhere. But essentially, we want this meet to stay standard for all your instances of your classes. Cool. Okay, so you should all have access to this calendar, and you should be able to grab these. The certificate and the first year classes are obviously scheduled for this week, and then the following week you'll find all the more senior classes over here. So just grab them from there and set them up, please. Cool. Okay, so then if you've set up auto record and all of that, after each session you'll get an email with the shortcut links to the recordings and whatever associated data, attendance report, and I guess the transcript. And you can then just go and collect all those shortcuts in one folder if you wish, or you can just leave them in your inbox. If you ever need to refer to them again, you can share them from there. They'll also be in the calendar event, but the students won't be in the calendar event, so they won't necessarily be able to access those. But you can copy and share that link to the recording. Everything should work, but I'll remain the custodian of those files. So all of the bulk of the recordings and stuff will be on my drive and in one place. So I'm stuck with a bit of a mess, and you're just getting shortcuts, but you won't have access to everyone's recordings if they're not added to the event. They won't receive it. Cool. Okay.